Morning's one of those weeks. I just got out of the shower. My hair's still wet. Didn't have time to put makeup on, but now you know what I look like when I wake up in the morning. Hi, Lucas. Good morning. I'm kind of trying to be quiet, but I don't know, not really. There's only one person in the house that's still sleeping. Nicholas here. Good morning. Hi, Anadit. So I'm going to talk to you guys this morning about jealousy. I'm sure none of you guys have ever been jealous. But if you have been, you probably like the little story I'm going to tell you today. So it's just another Sunday, last Sunday in October. And I want to tell you guys a little bit about something my dad wrote me. My dad sends me stories, like at least once a month. And hi, Lizzie, good morning. At least once a month, he writes all these stories. He's been writing stories for years. And actually, I'm going to do, I want to do him a favor, and well, I don't know if it's a favor. I want to compile a bunch of his stories and put them in a book for him. Hey, Nira. Good morning. Pardon the wet hair. I just got out of the shower. Derek, no, I did not. I did not leave the house. I sat home by myself on my birthday. It's kind of what I wanted. I asked Rob for peace and quiet as a birthday gift, so he took the kids out of my hair so I could stay home and focus on my writing. So, did not see any friends on my birthday. Yes, Nicola, I just got out of the shower, just washed my hair. I didn't have time to dry it or put on makeup or anything, so now you know what I look like when I wake up in the morning. I hope it's acceptable to you guys, and if it's not, who cares, because this is how God made me before I put on mascara and dry my hair and do all that kind of stuff. Or foundation. So, Nicola asks, didn't Shaunte and Jovanna visit you? Not on my birthday, but we went to a open mic the night before. He was asking about my actual birthday. Thank you, Nira. So I want to talk about jealousy today. I'm sure none of you guys have ever been jealous before, so you probably won't be able to relate at all. Let's see. How are you? Can you please tell Frank not to message me? Maybe you can, I mean, if someone's messaging you guys and you don't want them to, I guess you'll have to tell them yourself. I can't confirm, I don't know what's happening, you guys. I hope you can stand up for yourself and speak your mind the way you want to and let people know what you're thinking and feeling when you need to do that. I know I didn't always have the courage to do that myself, but I'm trying to teach you guys how to have that confidence and courage to be able to speak your mind and many other things, like go for your dreams. Nicholas says, when my friends would get jealous, they would get jealous when I would hang out with other friends. Hey, Lucas. Yeah. And Frank is saying, I have no idea who this person even is. Yeah, see why I don't really want to... See why I don't really want to comment on it? Hold on. Yeah, what's up, Eli?
The door is locked.
I know. We lock the door at night. Okay, don't slam the door. I had to open the door for Eli. Okay. We've got Elena here now. It's one of those mornings, right? Miss Motivation says, my neighbor is jealous of my life and the way I dress up. And there's no need to be. No, it's locked. You have to. Okay, well, you're going to have to ask Dad.
No, I don't.
You mad? Okay, well, let's not be mad. We've got Molly here. They're saying, hi, Eli. We've got Chocolate Cake World. Hi, I'm doing good. You're upset. I know you're upset. It's okay. It's okay. Why don't you go ask Dad for help? You want to go ask Dad for help?
No, he's sleeping.
Well, I'm allowing you to wake him up today.
No. I want to sleep.
Okay, well, I can't help you right now because I'm talking to my friends. Frank says good morning. Elena says good morning. Chocolate Cake World says don't cry. Nira says little hugs to you. We've got Asian Demerale. Did I say that right? Yes, I'm with Eli. Timothy was so, like, for the most part, docile and obedient. Eli is the opposite. So I'm having to read that book by James Dobson called The Strong-Willed Child, because this one will disagree with you over anything. Even like if I say, Eli, I'm wearing a pink shirt, he'll say, no, you're not. It's blue. He'll just disagree with everything you say. Authority, don't like that. The word no, don't like that. So once we can rein him in, he's definitely going to be a force for good when he grows up, right? You're going to fight for your brother, and you're going to fight for things that are right in the world. Yeah. So, can I put you down now? So I have to hold you the whole live stream? Yeah. We'll see if my arms last. Okay. So my dad wrote this little story called Tales by the Zoo. Tales from the Zoo. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but there's just a page and a little page and a third I want to share with you guys because it's about jealousy. What did Nana say? Yes, that strong will, under control. He'll be a mighty leader. Yeah, that's what we're looking for. So, in Mankato, Minnesota, I think that's where I was born. That's where Rob is from. In Mankato, Minnesota, what? Okay. Lizzie says, I don't mind. I've not really noticed much difference if I'm honest, Nicola. Okay, I don't think that was for me. All right, so in Mankato, Minnesota, there's a small zoo that featured a bright and beautiful peacock. Do you know what a peacock is, Eli?
It's an animal.
It is an animal, and it has beautiful feathers. It puts out its beautiful feathers, and they're very colorful. Catherine, you forgot to put on makeup. I did not forget. I ran out of time. My hair's even still wet. I don't know. It'll dry. So I'm a little raggedy today. I hope that's okay. So it was a choice of being like 10 minutes late or putting on makeup. So I decided to be on time and not wear makeup. So now you know what I look like when I wake up. Don't cry. I will hug you all. Chocolate Cake Worlds. So there was a beautiful peacock at this place. Hi, CJ. There was a beautiful peacock, and when the peacock spread its tail feathers like a fan, the upper feathers showed spots that looked like eyes. People came from near and far to see the peacock's beauty. This spectacle caused the visitors to ooh and ah at the sight. I'm sure they were taking pictures, but you know what? In a nearby tree sat a black crow who watched the peacock strut around. Hey, Rodrigo. So you got this beautiful peacock. Everyone's like, ooh, ah, they're so beautiful. Thank you, Rodrigo. Yeah. All right, you guys are giving me compliments about not wearing makeup today. So yeah, you're right, I do make a lot of videos on my channel without makeup on. So this is no different. I just normally am ready for church by the time I get on with you guys. And today I'm probably just going to go to church without makeup. We'll see. I'm serving in the kids ministry today, so it's not like it really matters. Right? I'll be listening but finishing my assignment, Elena says. Happy late birthday, Lucas says. All right, Nicola, thank you for the compliment. Okay, so we've got this peacock strutting around, but you know who's getting jealous? You got this black crow sitting in a tree who wishes they had more colors than just one. So he watched the peacock strut around, and in the evening, after the zoo was closed, that little black crow flew down to the peacock's enclosure, and he said, "I'm jealous of you. People come and stare at you as you strut around. Nobody cares about a little black crow." "No," the peacock said, "I'm the one who's jealous of you." Can you guys figure out why yet? Okay, hi, Lily's here. So stick with me because this is important for your life. It sounds like a silly little story, but it's really not. Hi, Catherine Cleary. You'll have to type your message in English if you want me to be able to read it. I don't read Russian. I think that's Russian. All right. So the peacock says to the black crow, "I'm the one who's jealous of you. You may be insignificant and have only black feathers that God gave you. However, you are free. You can fly wherever you want. You can perch high or low in any tree you pick. I may have people come to admire my beauty. However, I am a prisoner. I have no freedom. I am locked in this enclosure." You guys starting to get where this is going? Mona says hi. She's heading out to breakfast. Okay. So this peacock is saying, "I'm jealous of this black crow because I have no freedom," right? I am stuck in this enclosure. And so now my dad told that story, and then he's kind of relating it to his life. And my dad said, this is my dad's story, "I never realized the significance of this parable until my wife and I worked at the Lutheran Deaconess Hospital in Minneapolis. We had just resigned from our position to go on a 30-day canoe trip in the rugged Quetico wilderness. I believe that's in Canada. We were on an elevator going down to the street level when a doctor we both knew got on. He asked, 'How's it going?' My dad replied with his wife, 'We quit our jobs to go into the Quetico wilderness for 30 days. The doctor said, "I'm jealous of you." I said, "What's there to be jealous about? You have a high status job, money, position, prestige. We're just like low level hospital employees." And then I realized that doctor was much like the peacock. He may have had the beauty from his position in life, but he was not free to just quit and go fishing. And here's my dad's moral of the story. Be happy where you are, but if you compare yourself with others, you will become vain and bitter, for there will always be greater or lesser persons than yourself. Also, as it's written in Desiderata, that's my dad's favorite. I think it's a poem, Desiderata. It's a poem, or it's a saying, it's a writing. He's got it printed out on his wall at home. It says, "Wherever you labor and aspiration in the noisy confusion of life, we need to keep peace with our soul. With all its shame, drudgery, and broken dreams, it's still a beautiful world. We never need to be jealous of anyone. We need to bloom where we are and always strive to be happy." So what does that mean to you guys? Hi, Nash. He says, never compare yourself. That's right. So even the most person who has it so amazing, you don't know what's really going on with them, right? Thank you, Chocolate Cake World. You don't know what their secret longings are. You don't know what they're putting up with at home. You don't know the kid who's being mistreated at school. Lily says the moral is be careful not to attend a stampede. Okay, I don't think that was the moral, but if that's what you got out of it. And it says be confident and have self-trust. Nicholas says even if you want to be someone, you can't be them. You can only be yourself. Exactly. And you don't really know what kind of life they're actually living. You don't know if they go home and their spouse hates them and they're just screaming at each other and they're only posing beautiful on social media and making it look like They have a lot of great stuff in their life. You don't know what's really happening behind the scenes. And it reminds me, you guys know, was it this year or was it last year? That woman that was Miss America or Miss USA, beautiful, gorgeous status, jumped off a building and killed herself. So you don't know the secret torment and trials that people are going through, and vying and wishing to have somebody's life is never going to change yours. Lucas, no, I don't know who Carolise Burke is. I've never heard of her. Oh, Nana says, that's beautiful. I see where you inherited your beautiful writing from. Thank you. I think that is one of the things I got from my dad, is the love of writing. I've got like at least 200 stories he's written in a massive file box, and just last year I got every single one of them typed into the computer, because my dad wrote every single story on a typewriter. My dad never learned how to use a computer, so this is what he does when he wants to correct something. So he doesn't have to retype the whole page. Now this was written on an electric typewriter, but still there's no delete button. So what he does, I don't know if you guys can see this, is he types out a word and then he tapes it over where the mess up is. So there's a piece of tape. So I'll get these stories, and when he wants to edit it, he'll either put white out and put it with pen, or he'll type the word that's supposed to be there and put tape over it. So, that's kind of neat. My dad went to Walmart. Thank you for the gift, Nicola. My dad went to Walmart a few years ago when his typewriter wore out and tried to buy a new typewriter, and they thought he was kidding. They just laughed at him. They're like, we don't have typewriters here. So, kind of funny. I'm sorry that's not much. It's okay. It's okay, Nicola. Any gift you give is beautiful and wonderful, and I'm grateful for you, because it shows that, you feel like I'm making a difference and it's helping you. Angela says, your dad is a great storyteller, very wise man. I can see where you get it from. Thank you. Do you know, Lily's asking if I know the song, The Letter. I do not. I mean, maybe I just don't know the title of the song. What are some of the lyrics? Blake's giving me a virtual hug. Elena's happy because payday tomorrow. Is this your first paycheck from your new job? I know you got that new job. If I seem a little extra bouncy today, it is because I'm standing on a trampoline. So this light that I have on right now is set up for my partner who's taller than me. That acting course. I told you I'm filming an acting course, right? I started filming it 2 weeks ago. We're going to film again tomorrow. And Nicola, don't talk about being broke soon. Even if you feel like you won't have money soon, always talk about the abundance to come. The more, whatever you speak about, you're going to bring about. If it comes out of your mouth, it's going to come into your life. I'm reading a great book right now that I'd recommend to you guys if you do feel like you're having problems with finances. Well, 2 great books. Wallace Waddle has a great book called The Science of Money. And I'm currently reading You Are a Bad Beep at Making Money. It's a green book. It's a green book. I should have grabbed it to show it to you. But she says in that book, what comes out of your mouth comes into your life. And it's so true, the things that we speak. I mean, this is all throughout the Bible, right? The things that you think about and speak about, you bring about, right? It tells us in the book of Proverbs, chapter 23, verse 7, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So we have to stop thinking of our lack and our poverty and our inability, and we have to think about whatever's true, whatever's noble, whatever's good, whatever's right, whatever's lovely, whatever's of good report. Think on these things. And, in my upcoming book, You Are Worthy, which I'm hoping will come out. My goal is to launch it November 16th. I spent almost 14 hours editing it yesterday and a couple hours this morning, which is why I ran out of time. I didn't have time to do my hair and makeup because I was working on my book. So in there I talk about, well, basically a concept that Jesus talks about, and that's calling those things that be not as though they were. What does that mean? It means you only speak about what you actually want to have happen. See, we're powerful creatures. God said in the book of Genesis that he made us in his image and likeness. And we are speaking spirits. We can manifest the things that we're thinking about and speaking about. So when you start speaking, oh, I'm going to be broke, or nobody's ever going to want me, or you start thinking, oh, all men are jerks, or all women are gold diggers. Whatever you speak about, whatever you think about, that's what's going to show up in your life. It's going to show up in your life so much more because we have this part of our brain. I talk about this in one of my upcoming courses. Anyway, we have this thing in our back of our brain. It's called the reticular activator. And the reticular activator part of your brain goes and looks for things that you're talking about, goes and looks for things to be right. See, we want to be right. We always want to be right. We're always going to believe our opinions more than we're going to believe somebody else's opinions. So when I had self-worth issues, and I was constantly speaking, oh, you're ugly, you're fat, you're disgusting, nobody's ever going to want to be your friend. Those are the things I looked for, and those are the things that looked for, and those are the things that started showing up more in my life. It's kind of like you guys all have had an experience when your reticular activator started working, when you bought a certain car, or your family got a certain car. Then you're driving on the road and suddenly you're seeing those cars everywhere you go and you never noticed them before. Or like when I got pregnant for the first time, everywhere I went, suddenly I was seeing pregnant ladies and I was thinking, what is in the water? Suddenly everybody around me is pregnant. So you're going to get the things that you're looking for, and we always want to be right. We always want to prove to ourselves we're right. So our brain will start shifting us towards what we think is true just to prove to ourselves, yeah, you're right. I think I maybe have told this story before, but I'll tell it again. There was somebody who went on vacation to Hawaii, and they said, they were asking some of the locals who lived there, well, I'm thinking about moving to Hawaii. This place seems really great, but what is it really like here? And the person asked them, well, what is it like at home where you live? And they said, oh, everybody around is so negative. They're all such jerks. They're all like rude and mean, and there's traffic, and there's this, and people cut you off, and they talk bad about you, and they start telling this negative story. And the guy answered them and said, oh, well, you know what? Moving here is probably not going to help because the people here, they're the same. You got the same kind of people here. And then that couple left discouraged, like thinking, oh, I thought we'd find a better place to live. Then another couple comes up to the same guy, and they're on vacation, and they're thinking, it's so great. It seems to be so great here in Hawaii. I'm thinking we should move here. But what is it like here? I mean, you live here, you're a local. And the guy asked him, well, what is it like for you at home? And he said, oh, at home, everybody's nice. We know our neighbors. They're warm and friendly. People are kind. They say hi when you walk down the street. And the guy looked at him and he said, you know what? It's pretty much the same here. Kind of the same kind of people when you live here. So, the moral of this story is you get what you expect. You get what you're looking for. If I go into an audition expecting to lose, expecting to fail, expecting not to book it, thinking, why am I even bothering? Why am I here? I suck. I'm not talented. I'm never going to get this job. How much of a chance do you think I actually have of booking that acting job? Not much, right? But when I go into an acting job and I'm thinking, man, this is good. I got this. I am so right for this role. I am going to do so good. They're not going to be able to stop thinking about my performance. They're going to probably, even if they don't think I'm right for this part, they're probably going to write me another part in it. It's just going to be wonderful. They're all going to receive me and think it's great and love my performance. How much more likely am I to get the role when I come at it from that point of view than when I come at it from a different point of view, from a point of view of I'm not going to get it, right? We get what we expect. So we have to start believing the best, right? That's actually a scripture. Scripture says love believes the best. So in life, if we're not getting the things that we want to get in life, if things aren't turning out the way we want them to turn out, we have to realize that what we're saying, what we're speaking is going to come into our life, right? So God never spoke a word he did not want to have happen. And we have to start being so much more careful with our speech and with our language. And because we're going to get the things that we expect. Okay, let me get back to a couple of your messages. Nash says, how do you accept it when friends exclude you from everything? It hurts me. Well, Nash, number one, I would go talk to them. I would tell them how you're feeling, saying, hey guys, I noticed you didn't invite me to the last couple gatherings, and I'm not quite sure what I did wrong. You guys are awesome, and I consider you my friends, and I love hanging out with you. And I'm not sure if you just forgot or if it was oversight, because I've forgotten to invite people to my gatherings before. I had a party a couple of years ago, and I forgot to invite one of my friends. I don't know how. I just forgot, and then she heard about it. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, that was not on purpose. So find out, did your friends exclude you on purpose, or did they just forget, or what's going on? And ask them, it seems like you're leaving me out of things, and I'm feeling a little like hurt or discouraged by it. Is there something I did? And if they're just jerks about it, then go find some different friends. They're not worth your time. But if they forgot, or it was something that was an oversight that they didn't mean to do, then well, you're going to know either way, but you have to confront them. Thank you, Chocolate Cake World. Derek sent me a little gift, and he's asking, if you have to wear heels all week for Dhar Mann, how would you be able to endure it? Well, I would pick low heels, and I would try to take, my problem is I buy the kind with clasps at the end, and then they're hard. Then you have to unclasp them and do all this stuff. It's probably better to buy the kind that you can just kick off in between takes if you need to. But sometimes they'll let you take them off and stand on an apple box. So I've done that before, where you stand on maybe a half apple. That's what I'm doing with the acting course I'm shooting. Tony's like 6'1", and I'm like not 5'5" yet. Yet. I say yet, like I'm still growing. Yeah, so I'm standing on what they call a pancake. He was like, just wear a pair of heels. And I said, Tony, I'm not going to wear a pair of heels when my feet aren't even being shown in the acting course. Why would I make myself uncomfortable all day for a shot that's not even going to be seen? So apple box is pretty big. Then you've got half apples. I tried to stand on a half apple, but that made me too tall. And then you've got pancakes. Those are all like pieces of wood in the movie industry. So a lot of times, like short guys like Tom Cruise have to stand on apple boxes if they're with taller women like Cameron Diaz. Remember when Cameron Diaz and Tom Cruise did that movie together? They were like on a motorcycle. Well, Tom Cruise is much shorter than Cameron Diaz. So I'm sure many times he had to stand on an apple box. And then like, oh, who's the guy that played Robin in Batman and Robin? Chris, was his name Chris O'Donnell? He did a movie with Minnie Driver. Minnie Driver's much taller than him. So like they had this scene where they were walking in the park. They, instead of like building a big platform all the way for Chris to walk on next to her so he could look taller than her, they dug a ditch. They dug a ditch for Minnie to walk in. So Minnie's walking in a ditch in the scene with Chris, because Minnie's like this and Chris is like this. But they dug a ditch for her to walk in so Chris would look taller than her. Thank you for the gift, Angela. I appreciate it. Okay, Jordan says, you're beautiful without hair or makeup. Thank you. Lily says, life's been great. I'm mingling with some popular kids. Popular kids, moms from my school. Oh, they're in the city choir and they're nice. So as long as they're nice, my experience, popular kids aren't always nice. Blake, what are you dressing up for Halloween? I am shooting an online course that day, so I'm dressing up as a professional business person shooting an acting course. Probably not what you meant, right? Yeah, Catherine asks for my number, which I do not give out. Let's see, Lizzie says, gotta go. I'll catch the rest later. Have a blessed Sunday. Thank you, Blake. So, you guys have any questions for me? I've like normally I have a lot more to talk about, but today I was in a rush. Nash says how? Oh, did that answer your question, Nash? Are you gonna ask those people? Ask them, please. Ask them why they're excluding you, or is it an oversight? Okay. Mona says personal questions are crossing boundaries. Comments can be deleted for this reason. Okay. She's letting everyone know. Thank you, Mona. The Small Things asks, what's your favorite animal? Good question. I used to, back when I was shy and insecure, used to really relate to the turtle. Because if someone tried to hurt them, they'd just go into their shell. And I kind of used to be like that. What kind of animal am I now? Well, I guess you're asking me what my favorite animal is, not what kind of animal I am now. In the acting world, a lot of times they have certain challenges where they try to make you think or act or move or become like a certain animal. Marlon Brando used this technique a lot when he was acting. He would take on the mannerisms of certain animals. Leonardo DiCaprio does that too for his roles. I actually talked to his movement coach. I took a class from his movement coach that with certain roles he would take on the posture and it's not as clear cut as like when Halle Berry plays Catwoman to take on the posture of a cat. Certain actors take on certain animals, the way they move their head, the way they look. Are they a predator animal? Are they prey? They take it on to change their acting performance. So totally still did not answer that question, did I? I like dogs. I like dogs. I always had dogs growing up. I thought about getting one for Timmy. I thought about giving Timmy a service dog, but they're so expensive, and just having a dog in general, like my friend's giving a dog away, a really nice, beautiful dog, but I'm like, well, who's going to be here to watch it when I'm gone all day, and when we travel, and we're going back to Minnesota again soon, and like having to come up with dog sitters and babysitters for the animals, and I feel like I pay enough for just babysitters for the kids. I don't really want to add to that. Okay, and then P says, when's the next time you're going to be in a Dhar Mann video? I've been shooting about one per week, and I think I've been coming out in about one per week. Have you guys noticed that? It's been about once a week I've been coming out in a video. I do have one I'm shooting this coming week. I shot a Thanksgiving/Christmas one last week, and I'm shooting a Thanksgiving one this week, and I think I'm shooting a Christmas one next week. All right. So we have is it Mr. Edeni or Marie? Forgive me for butchering your name. I'm really sorry. Redini? Did I say it right? Redini? He says, your videos are very inspiring. Thank you. Elena, I didn't realize you were back at school. You said your assignment's nearly complete. I knew you had a new job. I didn't know you were in school, unless I somehow forgot. And it says, save me from my friends. I'm being forced to be a vampire for Halloween. Oh, the problem is I don't have fangs. Oh boy. Well, you know what? Vampires only put their fangs out when they're like ready to kill. So you could say, I know, I have a solution for you, Anadit. When you go out with your friends tomorrow, tell them that you're a vegetarian vampire. I don't know. It might work. You drink palm juice instead of blood. Let's see. Like Lakshita, my favorite color is turquoise. Question, what is your favorite Dhar Mann video you were in? Lucas, I made a video on here called my 8 favorite Dhar Mann videos I'm in. Check that out because I had a hard time narrowing it down to the top 1. But no, I really loved one where I think it's called Boy Tries to Jump Off a Bridge or Teen Tries to Jump Off a Bridge. I call it More Hugs, Less Suicide because that's the sign I'm holding in the video. It's the only one that I think they've ever done on suicide, and that's my favorite one. We've got Finley asking, did you travel to Spain in the last few weeks? Strange question, but I saw someone sitting at a table in the entertainment area resort who looks like you. No, I have never been to Spain. Never been there. Maybe someday. Let's see. Are there prestigious private schools in California or in Los Angeles? Probably. I've never looked into it. My name is Brian, says I drink 7 martinis a day. Why? Are you trying to destroy your liver and kidneys? Why do you do that? Tell me, I'm really curious to know why you would do that. I mean, you know you can just eat the olives and you don't need them in the drink. Right? Okay. All right, so your videos are so inspiring. I look up to you. I don't want to miss a single video of yours. Wow, thank you so much. That's really kind of you. I hope what I'm doing is a service to people. I hope it's helpful. Did you guys see the video I put out Monday where I was talking about an incident I had with Timothy recently when he couldn't walk? I'm wondering if you guys resonated with that. You guys, I think I had a lot more in-depth comments on that one, so I was thinking maybe people like it when I tell more personal stories. I'm wondering. Okay, let's see. Miss Motivation says, I love your single mom video from Dhar Mann. Which one? I think I've been a single mom in several of them, right? Jordan says, hey, Catherine, if you were to give me a service dog when it comes to, say, traveling, the dog can travel with you as a service dog. Oh, that's right. Totally forgot about that. Okay, Elena's getting her bachelor's degree in business management. Thank you for the late birthday wishes, Jordan. Lakshita said, when are you coming to India? I don't know, but you guys know the person that I'm shooting my acting course with is from India. He used to be, I don't think he was like a star, but he used to be a well-known actor in India. So you will see, maybe next year when my acting course comes out that I'm shooting in collaboration with my friend. Okay, what part of California do you live in? It's Los Angeles County. My name is Brian says, so my day starts with having a bath, then I go on to martinis, and sometimes it goes on to 12 martinis. I have 6 packets of chips with 12 large glasses of martinis some days. Chips and martinis, are you wanting to die young? I'm just curious. I don't know if you're pulling my leg, but it's not April Fool's. Do you know I've only had 1 drink in the last couple decades? It's just so bad for you. It's just not good for you. I don't know why people do. I do know why people do it. They want to like mellow out and drown their problems, but you know prayer works so much better and doesn't destroy your organs. Okay, Miss Motivation says, yes, Dhar Mann is from Punjab, India. Yeah, I knew he was Punjabi. So is that the place it's called where he's from? It's called Punjab? The only time I had ever seen that was in the movie Orphan Annie. Okay, we've got Jen Sil from the Philippines. Brittany's wondering, when am I coming to Iowa? That'd be like a hop, skip, and a jump, wouldn't it? I've been to Iowa many times, just not recently. I haven't been there since I moved to California. I've been to Wisconsin Rob's sister lives in Wisconsin, and there's a great indoor water park there that we went to. Lucas, Los Angeles County. I know I already answered that. Okay, so do you guys have any questions about the topic today either? Like, have you been jealous of anyone? I have. I know I used to be jealous of people all the time, and it did not serve me. All it did is make me feel bad about myself. And that's no place to live. You don't, I mean, people are going to make us feel bad about ourselves anyway. The devil's going to make us feel bad about ourselves. Like, why would you add to that? Why are you being your own worst enemy? Why are you being your own bully? How many people have been guilty of being your own bully? How many people have put yourself down and said worse things to yourself than you would ever say to others? We got to stop that. We got to stop doing that. Because, you know, if you think to myself, well, I would never say something that awful and mean to other people. You mean, they're a child of God. God loves them. You're talking down in his work. Well, you, my friend, are also a child of God who God loves. And when you look down on yourself, you are putting down one of God's creations and you're breaking his heart. Don't do that. Blake says, I've been guilty of being jealous before. Lily says she wore her Dhar Mann shirt for choir practice and her friends loved it. Did you guys see he's got some new merch out? He's got some new designs out. I'm gonna get some. Jordan says, really, is Dhar Mann actually Indian? Because I always talk to he was American. I never realized that about him. Yeah, I believe he was born in America, but his parents might have been born in Punjab. I've met them, and they all, Dhar's very Americanized. His parents, at least his mom still wears the Indian garb, and yeah, they're definitely from India. Let's see, Elena says, sometimes I get jealous of my friends who are married with kids while I'm still single with no kids. Then I tell myself all the good things take time and someday it will happen for me. Exactly. We never know God's timing. Like I was blessed enough to meet my husband when I was a teenager. Not a lot of people can say that. And then not a lot of people, I mean, you grow so much during that time. Like I didn't know who I was. I've grown so much. Funny joke I saw the other day. It was talking about relationships, and it said, men always go into relationships thinking the woman's never going to change, and women always go into relationships thinking, I can change that man, and he never changes. So it was basically saying, it's not as funny when I say it, because I don't have the exact right quote, but women always think, oh, I can change him. I can make him better. I can make him the way I want him to be. And then guys are like, she's not the person I married. She's not the person I married. Because sounds like the women change and the men, they don't. As much as you want them to. I know, it's a generalization. It's a joke. Take a joke, people. Miss Motivation says, you're right. Jacqueline says, sorry I'm late. You can catch up watching it later. Blake, I'm not dressing up for Halloween. We don't really celebrate Halloween. It's not, I mean, I have in the past. I've dressed up in the past. I was invited to a Halloween party last night. Rob went, a bunch of all my friends were there, and I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go. I stayed home and worked on my book instead. I worked on editing my book for like 14 hours yesterday, till I was like, couldn't do it anymore. Got up and did it some more this morning. Nana said, I used to be jealous until I took your You Are Worthy course. Guys, you gotta hop into that. I'm gonna launch it again. I'll probably launch it again in January, right? That's when people want to change and start over. I mean, it's available anytime if you go to katherinenorland.com/worthy. But I'm gonna probably launch it again and put it on sale in January. Okay. Let's see. Okay, here's this martini dude again. All right, Brian. What are we talking about here? I love martinis. So my breakfast starts with martinis. I have 3 martinis for breakfast, 5 martinis for lunch, 5 martinis for... So it sounds like you're an alcoholic. Are you getting help with that? Are you getting help with that? Oh my gosh. Miss Motivation. She's talking to Angela. Brittany says, like, when are you coming to Iowa? It's a joke because we all know very well that I'd rather go to California instead. Palm tree, palm tree. Blake says, I don't think Halloween is evil. It's just a fun night to eat candy. Depends on how you look at it. I've seen some videos exposing the dark sides of Halloween, so I'm really trepidatious about that. So I thought about talking about that as a topic for today, but then I thought I don't want to go down that rabbit trail. I don't want to go down that dark hole of, some people consider it, the devil's holiday. And like when Christians go to church all these days, but then they celebrate the devil's holiday, but the Satanists, they would never go to church on Easter. Like, I don't know. So you got to look into it more. I'm not going to discourage any of you. You have to, pray and ask God, is this okay for me to do? But hey, I tell my kids, you can dress up any day of the week. Timmy has some costumes. I bought him a Boris costume this year. I took Eli for a walk yesterday, and he was wearing his Spider-Man costume. I was like, and I dress up for work, right? I play other characters for work, so I don't need to dress up. Okay. My name is Brian says, plus my wife is so beautiful that she says, you drink as much as you want. I live with her and she's mine, and I am so happy. I married my Rose, just like Jack. Okay. I do not know if we got a storyteller on here today or what. I don't even know what to say. Okay, we've got Jen still said, I watched all your Dhar Mann videos. It was amazing. You're such a great actress. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Catherine, can you please make a video about controlling negative thoughts? Well, I put one out on Monday. Did you see the one I put on Monday about how to deal with negative thoughts? Check the video on my channel I put out Monday. I think it's called How to Deal with Negative Emotions. But it's the same for thoughts, because here's the thing, guys. The thoughts you think create the emotions in your body.
Daddy's not waking up.
Dad's not waking up? Well, go jump on the bed. Go jump on the bed. Go jump on the bed and wake him up. Normally I'd say not to, but we got to leave early for church today since I'm serving in the children's ministry. Oh, do you need to go sit on the potty? No? Okay. So let's just go wake him up. Tell Daddy it's time to get ready for church, okay? You're skateboarding on my head. You're skateboarding on my head? We've got Eli Betty. Is it Beatty? Beatty here. Welcome. Okay, we've got... So check that video out, because our thoughts are really what's in control of our emotions. When we get all upset and all out of sorts, and we've got anger, we've got jealousy, we've got anxiety, whatever that is, that feeling, it's all because of our thoughts. So in order to control your thoughts, you have to start thinking about and dwelling on the things that are actually good for you to think about or dwell on. Thinking about negative things and things that you worry about and all that stuff, that doesn't happen. I mean, most of the time, it doesn't happen. The things you worry about, a lot of times don't even happen. I was reading again in the book, I've mentioned this book before, I might have read from it. It's called No More Mr. Nice Guy. And he was talking about a friend who was always worried all the time. He just worried. He couldn't stop worrying all the time. So finally my friend said, you know what? Write down the top 10 things that you're so worried about and put them in an envelope and give them to me. I'm going to hold them. I'm going to hold on to your worries so you can let go of them. Don't worry. I've got them here. I've got all your worries. I'm going to put them in an envelope in my desk. And then 6 months later, they went out to lunch, and he brought the envelope, and he said to his friend who was the worrier, open this up and read your list out loud and tell me which of these things that you were so worried about have happened in the last 6 months. Which ones have happened? not a single one of them has happened. And more than 90% of the things we worry about don't happen. They don't. So we're so worried all the time, and all it does is taxing us mentally, physically, spiritually. It's putting us at such a low place that we don't feel good. That you have to stop worrying, and you have to stop being concerned about all these things, because a lot of times they don't happen. And you have to just know, you know what? God is in control. God's in control, and you don't have to worry or fret, because if you took that worry and say, God, this is the thing I'm worried about. I'm worried about not passing this test. I'm worried about this person not wanting to marry me. I'm worried about never finding the right guy, whatever it is. And you say, God, this is what I'm worried about, but I want you to know this is what I would like for my life. This is what I would want to have. Please take this burden from me. Show me who you want. Show me how to pass this test. Show me what to do. God's going to hear your prayers, and he's going to step in and intervene when the time is right. And we can't get so out of sorts and so upset that it's not happening in our time frame. God wants you to have the things that you want, right? He says in 3 John 2, Beloved, that's you, I wish above all things that you would prosper and be in good health, even as your soul prospers. So prospering is not just money. He wants you to have love and joy and peace and happiness.
Not waking up.
Okay, we'll wake him up in a little bit, or maybe have Timmy help you wake him up.
No.
He wants you to have everything.
I don't want Timmy to wake me up.
That includes peace of mind.
I don't want Mom. I don't want.
See the
Mom.
book in the book
I
of,
don't want my brother to wake up my dad.
in the book of Psalms. God tells us, is it Psalms or Proverbs? It tells us God will give us the desires of our heart if we delight ourselves in him. If you delight yourselves in him, then he will give you the desires of your heart. So you got to spend that time with God and delighting in him and reading his word and studying and praying and telling God what you want, and then trusting. Trusting God is going to bring it to you in the right time. Do you know that God does not act unless you have faith? So if we're not acting in faith, we're not going to get the things we want. Remember when Jesus was on earth, he did not do many mighty works in his own hometown because they didn't believe in him. They didn't have faith in him. So without faith, there's a scripture that says without faith, it's impossible to please him. You know, another scripture that I love that you guys really need to get familiar with. We must believe that God is. We must believe that he is. He is who he says he is. We must believe that he is, and that he is a rewarder of those who diligently seek him. Some of you guys are sitting on the fence with your relationship with God. You're like, I love God. I gave my life to him. I want to go to heaven one day. I want to serve him. But I don't believe he's going to give me what I want. I don't believe he's going to answer my prayers. I think he's only going to help other people, and he's not going to help me. And that's just not... You're not believing God is. You're not believing his word, because all throughout scriptures, he talks about all the things he wants to do for you, all the things he wants to bless you with. But you have to realize God is an if-then God. Deuteronomy chapter 28 is a great example of this. It's all the, if you do this. So if you obey, if you do the things you're supposed to do, I will bless you when you come in. I'll bless you when you go out. I'll bless you here. I'll bless you there. I'll bless. He talks about all the blessings. But if you don't, but if you do this other thing instead, if you reject me, you know, then all these curses come upon you. So if you're experiencing anything in your life that you don't like, or if you're wanting things in your life that you don't have, you've got to get better at casting your care on God, giving him your worries, praying and trusting, and being obedient. How many of you guys have done everything God has told you to do? I know I haven't. I was just reading through my old journal from 2019, seeing some stuff God told me to do, and I was like, oh no, I haven't done that yet. So some of it I'm like writing down and putting on my list. I'm getting into action on. God is never going to move past your last act of disobedience. What does that mean? If God's told you something to do as simple as switching your shampoo, then do it. It may seem like, oh, that's so stupid. I like the brand I use. But God is telling you, switch your shampoo. Sometimes he starts with something small to see if we'll do it. You know, how are we going to obey him in the big things when we can't even obey him in the small things? He may tell you to switch your shampoo because 10 years from now they're going to discover that your shampoo causes cancer, right? And you've been putting it into your, rubbing it into your scalp, and then people are waking up with brain cancer. Whatever it is, whatever God tells you to do, here's the thing. Here's the thing which I think makes people not want to trust God, is that they're worried that God's going to have them do something that they don't want to do. But anything God tells you to do is for your good. It's not for his good. If God tells you to stop eating, was Mr. Brian say, 5 bags of potato chips a day. When God tells you to stop, to cut it down to 1 bag of potato chips a day and cut out 4, it's not so he won't get fat. It's not so he won't get diabetes. It's so you won't get diabetes, right? Everything God tells us to do is for our own good, for our own blessings. Yes, that includes forgiving others. That includes forgiving those who hurt us. Everything he tells us to do is for our own good. So we have to just suck it up and do what God says if we want to have the life that we want to lead. He doesn't want you to have a life of drudgery, right? He wants to give us abundance and happiness and joy and peace. He wants to give us more of him, and he is all those things. God is love. He is joy. He is peace. He is happiness. He is truth. And if that's what you want, you draw close to him and you do the things that he's asking you to do. Right? Okay, let me see if I can get to a couple more of your comments. Is that making sense, guys? Do you still have a problem with faith? Do you still have a problem? It includes forgiving those you don't want to forgive. Did I already say that? Yeah. So, Jordan's saying, can the woman, that not the man, he's just, and know to get on with it and be happy, because that another time it's never said in relationships. I'm not sure what you're saying. Maybe I'm misreading it. Okay. GS Montana says, I love your eyes. Thank you. Brittany said, story time with Brian. Yeah, maybe he could start a channel talking about martinis and potato chips and his lovely rose. Would you guys watch that? Would you guys go to his channel and listen to story time with Brian? Okay. Snana says, where is the scripture that says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he? That's Proverbs 23:7. Let's see. We've got Harim here saying, wow. Angela saying, Eli's pretty blue eyes. Jordan said he's worried that it's his last year of college and he doesn't know where to go after. Well, have you prayed about it? What do you feel like God is telling you to do? Jordan, where's your passion? Start to head towards your passion and what you feel like God wants you to do. Oh, thank you. That must be Tana Lee. Hi. You must have saw Eli here for a second. Where's your passion? Because God puts these desires in your heart. If you have a desire in your heart, most of the time it's something God put there. Unless it's some kind of desire to hurt other people, then obviously, then the devil put that one there. But he will give you the desires of your heart if you delight yourself in him, right? So when you're following him and doing the things he's asking you to, it's actually leading you to the path of the things that you want. I know sometimes it doesn't make sense because it seems like he'll tell you, for instance, I talk about this in my course, You Are Worthy, and I think I have it in the book too. Yeah, I have it in the book I've been working on too. Sometimes he'll tell you not to do something that you think is part of your calling, but he's trying to do something else for you, through you, in you, to help others, whatever it is. So here's an example. I came to California to be an actor. And so I was like, God wants me to be an actor. This is the dream he put in my heart. I have to do this. On my way to an audition at USC for a student thesis film, I'm driving and I see this homeless woman on the street. And I think she's holding up a sign. Maybe she's not. No, I don't remember her holding up a sign. I remember she was rail thin. Her shirt was open. Her shirt was unbuttoned and you could see her ribs. She was so thin. And God told me to go pull over and talk to her. And I was like, I'm not going to talk to her. I've got to get to this audition. Hello, you called me to Los Angeles to become an actor. I'm going to be late for my audition. I cannot stop and talk to her. I cannot pull over. I don't want to be late for my audition. So God's telling me to do something that seemed counterproductive for what he told me to move to California and do. Because in my mind, I'm thinking, well, this job that I'm probably going to book from this film could be the thing that sets me up for success, that gets me noticed, that gets my acting career going. So I told God no. And so I just rolled down the window, asked the woman her name. Her name was Barbie. And God said, I want you to pull over and I want you to talk to her and I want you to tell her about me and I want you to tell her how much I love her. And I was like, God, no, I'm late. I don't want to be late for my audition. So I found her name was Barbie. I gave her $5 and I went to my audition. The whole way to my audition, I knew I was disobedient. I knew I had disobeyed God. I was torn up and tormented inside. I was sobbing. I was so upset. I was just like, I was like so torn because I knew clearly God wanted me to just go be with her. In hindsight, God telling me to do that, this audition in hindsight wasn't so I could go book this job. It was so I could meet Barbie and tell her how much God loved her. So I didn't do it. You know what? I got to that audition. They had me waiting for 2 hours. I sat there for 2 hours in the waiting room before I got to go audition. And the whole time I'm sitting there going, I should have talked to that lady. I should have talked to that lady. God was right. Why didn't I talk to her? He knew the audition was going to be 2 hours late. He knew. And so I'm in torment. I get in. I do the audition, but I do terrible. I do a terrible job because all I could think of was how disobedient I was because I thought, God wants me to have this acting career. I'm supposed to do this audition. So do you see how doing what you think is the right way to your goal and dream isn't always the plan God has for us? His plan was for me to, I thought, go to this audition, but it was really to meet this woman. So a couple hours later, I'm driving back and I'm going on that same street and I'm looking for Barbie, and I'm driving up and down all the streets trying to be obedient now because I had been disobedient. I'm trying to find this woman. Never found her. I could not stop thinking about her. For months, I could not stop thinking about this woman I was supposed to go talk to, and I didn't. Months later, so I sleep with earplugs because I'm a light sleeper, and I was out of my foam earplugs. So my friend loans me gives me a pair of her swimming earplugs. Well, they're wax, and they fall apart. And I got part of her earplug stuck in my ear and it wouldn't come out. I'm on set shooting a film. I'm on set shooting some horror film, some terrible horror film that's beside the point. And the director kept calling action. Monty, I remember his name was Monty. He kept calling action, but I couldn't hear him. I had earplugs stuck in my ears. I couldn't hear him. And here I am thinking I'm living the dream, doing what God's supposed to say. Yes, God says, if you love me, you obey me. Exactly, Tana. Exactly. So I didn't obey God. I didn't go talk to Barbie. So here I am shooting months later. I got these earplugs stuck in my ears, and the director said, action, action, and I can't hear him. He's getting so mad at me. So I take myself to the emergency room. I don't have insurance, so I'm forced to go to this scary ER place in downtown Los Angeles. It's full of homeless people, street people. Guards are bringing in prisoners in their prison outfits to get treated. And here I am, this little 20-something-year-old little innocent blonde girl from Minnesota, all scared. And I'm sitting there mad that this is why am I here, God? I'm so angry. Stupid earplug. I can't get it out. I got to get a doctor to remove this earplug. And I'm sitting there, and over the intercom, I hear them call the name of Barbie someone. Suddenly, my mind is racing. That couldn't be. I wonder how many Barbies there are in California. I wonder how many No, that couldn't be. This emergency room was so overflowing. There was not seats for enough people. So they were putting multiple people in the doctor's room. They were putting multiple people in the doctor's room. So there's somebody in the bed behind the curtain, and I'm sitting in a chair in the doctor's room waiting for the doctor. I'm waiting, and somebody's behind the curtain, and God whispers to me, "That's Barbie." And I was like, "What?" This is months later. How many millions of people are there in California? How many millions of people are there in Los Angeles? I'm sitting in this room with the earplug stuck in my ear in a chair. There's somebody behind the curtain that also needs medical attention, and I can hear them like scratching their leg, and they're making noises, and they're talking to themselves. And God said, "That's Barbie. I told you to tell her how much I love her." And I was like, "No, it's not. It can't be. It can't be Barbie." See, I'm tearing up just thinking about it. And so I was so inept. I didn't know how to talk to people about God, but I kept these little poetry books in my purse that were like God, like little devotionals. And so he said, "Talk to her. I told you to tell her how much I love her." And I was like, she's going to think I'm a loony person. I'm loony. Am I just going to start talking to the person behind the curtain? I don't know who that is. And I was like, "Hi." No answer. "Hi, how are you behind the curtain? I'm just trying to I just so did not want to do this." And God's like, "That's Barbie. You have to tell her what I told you to tell her months ago." And so I was like, are you Barbie?" Swings the curtain open. "Who wants to know?" She's all like angry, and she's got like a cast on, and she's like trying to stick something in the cast and itch her leg, and she's like, I'm like, "Hi, you probably don't remember me, but I ran into you on the street a few months ago, and I was supposed to talk to you, and anyway, I want to tell you, I got these, can I read something to you?" I didn't know what to say. I'm like reading her these poems in this Bible track, and I'm reading it too, and like all this stuff is happening, and I'm feeling like, what the heck is happening? And then the doctor comes and he takes her and he's wheeling her away, and God says, "You didn't tell her. You didn't tell her what I asked you to tell her months ago or now. What are the chances? You tell me 1 in a million, billion, gazillion chances that I'm going to be in the same room with this random homeless person months later, that God is going to put me in the same room with her just to tell her how much he loves her?" So she's getting wheeled away, and I'm losing my chance. My chance is going out the window, and once again, I'm being disobedient. And I finally work up the courage. The nurse is pushing her away. The doctor's following. They're going down this crowded hallway, and I start shouting, "Barbie! God loves you! Jesus loves you, Barbie!" And at this point, I'm sobbing, and I look like a crazy person. God finally showed me about obedience. Now, if that's not the craziest story you've ever heard about not being obedient and then God finally bringing it back around, that is how I know you've got to do what God says to do when he tells you to do it. You're not always going to get a second chance. Most of the time, you're not going to get a second chance to be obedient. So you have to be obedient now. My God. Okay, I'm over time. I don't know if you guys are still here for that, but that was a crazy story from my life, and it's a true story. And the thing that you want to have so badly in life is tied to your obedience. It's not tied to what you think is supposed to happen or what you think you're supposed to do. I thought I was supposed to go to the audition because my goal was to be an actor. But no, what I'm supposed to do is whatever God tells me to do whenever God tells me to do it. As T. Lee said, "If you love me, you will keep my commandments." All right, I am late and I got to get to church. I'm helping in Sunday school today. Love you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye.